Yeah, much better. We're not 2 hours late like we were last week. We're only 2 minutes late. That's like 1,000% improvement or something. I don't know. You're better at math, Max. You tell me.
I mean, the top of my head says 60 times better, but
Okay. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. 60 times better. So 600% better, right?
yeah. So real close to 1,000%. Well done.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. I was just throwing shit out there. So, everybody, this is the onitinit.com life under construction accountability call, and tonight we're just gonna, show you what it's like to hold an accountability call, so that you can move your life forward. Whether it be maybe you want to lose some weight, or you want to grow a business, or you want to, improve your relationships, or your finances, whatever it is you want to do. Accountability groups, mastermind groups, using this as one of your tools in your toolbox is a huge way to move yourself forward, especially when things are really tough. And I'm going through a pretty tough time right now. I'm going to share a little bit about that, and we'll kind of go from there. So, Max, I'm Peter Fermenti. I'm a certified coach and founder of onitinit.com. Max is my best friend and has been one of my accountability partners for quite some time. So, Max, about yourself, quick.
So I am a small business owner in Butte, Montana, and I'm mostly consumed by it.
I don't see video of you, so I wonder if people can see video of you.
They should be able to see video of me. I'm trading sending my beautiful self to you as opposed to sending my beautiful self to the people. In fact, I look better.
Okay, so they can see
in this video. I'm much more clear and crisp because it's recording here, and he has to transmit to the internet, and then to me, and then to you. So that's why he looks kind of muddy, and I look great. Yeah.
So, all right, cool. Well, so the way that these accountability calls, work, we're going to just kind of run through the things that we were supposed to do this week and how that's going. Then we'll make some goals for next week. And then we'll talk a little bit about, as we always do on these calls, in our real accountability groups that we don't, do live, we're always learning something each week, and so hope pass on a little bit of the knowledge of the things that we've learned during the week. So, if you don't mind, Max, I think I will go ahead and start this week. I think you started last week.
Okay, go to it.
So, I'm going to look here at my goals in our face, so that I can make sure and speak to Lad, and let's see here, and then how I did on those goals. I don't feel very, I hate to admit it, but I don't feel very positive right now, so I feel like I probably didn't do anything I was supposed to do, but I know that's a lie.
I mean, I know you've done a lot this week. I just don't know if it's what you initially thought you were going to do as of Wednesday. So we shall see.
Yeah, so my goals for the week, let's see here. Get the IRS matter resolved to avoid men with letters on their jackets. Well, that's the goal. What I was specifically going to do was begin to go through all of my documents and see what I had. I was actually able to file my 2014 taxes I had an extension to September 15th. Well, I think maybe those were when the corporate returns were, I don't know. So anyway, but I had a deadline from my attorney and accountant to get that stuff done yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And it was done on time. I had 2 LLCs and an S Corp to file for, and so that was done on time. And I kind of had to, finagle some things to make that happen. And have all the bank statements, but I was able to call Wells Fargo and get some of the information I needed to get all the correct information, and so that was awesome. I was pretty proud of myself for kind of at the last minute figuring out a solution when I didn't think I was going to make the goal. The other goal was start making healthy lunch, taking a healthy lunch to work every day, and going to the gym. I have been doing that. There's been 1 or 2 days in the past week where I did eat some things I probably shouldn't have. I've been emotionally eating, and I'll talk about that here in just a sec. But I've been hitting the gym. I didn't go yesterday. No, I did go yesterday, despite my accountability partner here locally, who goes to the gym with me, was too tired to go, and I went without him. And then today I did not go. It's my day off. Might go this evening if I can find the time, but I just haven't had time. I've been busy all day with stuff, and this is really my only day off, so it's kind of tough. And then the last goal was let's see. I guess that was actually it. All that I had set for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I swear there was one more thing. It was a health.
You know what? There was one more thing, and I don't think I got it in.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, it's not on the list, but I remember now. It was getting the image figured out for the brand, for the page that promotes this call, and so I did come up with an image, and I'm using that right now. I've also created a new video for that page, and I'm going to be promoting this call with some ads, and I'll be testing the one ad to these two different identical pages, with the only difference being the video, to see which one gets the most interest. And the video that I did today was kind of, I'm trying to be really what's going on here. The difference between I think this and a lot of the things that you might see out there in the personal development world is, a lot of times when you see personal development guys, they drive up in their Lamborghini and then, hey, I've got a Lamborghini. You'd like to have a Lamborghini? Well, pay all this money. And, and I mean, some of those guys are totally authentic, and that's really their life, and they really, can help you. But they're not where you are by any means. And this call is really for people on some level who, are feeling stuck, are feeling like, they don't know how to move forward. They want to get support. They want to, they want to get this tool in their toolbox of building accountability, building support, building masterminds. The last, probably the hardest that I've had in about 6 years. 6 years ago, I went through a divorce and a bankruptcy, and I, ended up moving to Montana and living near Max. And I was at the time about 440 pounds, and I was a mess, emotionally, physically, a mess. And I made a decision, not right away, but after some time of spending time there and having, the support and building some accountability, that if I wanted to fix my life, I needed to get healthy. And I started training for a marathon. I was around the house on a marathon, and I pulled myself out of that rut. But one of the things that I did not do was I did not allow myself really enough time to be alone and to really figure who I was on my own. I kind of started jumping back into relationships and with women, and just use that as a way to feel better about the loss of my divorce, basically. And 10 days ago, I found myself. My girlfriend broke up with me, and we had been on the rocks for a while. And to be honest, in my gut for a while, I had been saying, "Gosh, maybe this relationship isn't right." And now I'm totally confused. I don't know if it was right or it was wrong, and I just screwed up or what, because there's really this realization that maybe I had some unrealistic expectations of what I can expect from a partner, and the fact that I hadn't taken some of that time alone meant that I was kind of needy, to be completely honest, and not proud of the way that I acted, and whether or not that was the right relationship for me. I'm not proud of the way I acted in that relationship, and part of me wants to drive the 10 hours to her house and try to beg her to talk to me, not even to get back together, but just so she could understand that, hey, I realize now that I made a lot of mistakes, and I need to make some of these changes. But the number one change that I need to make is to stop being pushy and needy. And so the number one thing I can do to really prove that is not talk about it, but take action, and that means leaving her alone. That means giving her her space and moving on with my life. And so it's really, really hard for me right now. I feel deserted. I feel abandoned. I feel I have to face this time alone, and I feel like how could I drive two people in my life to walk away from me in this fashion? And so I just am beating myself up on a daily basis, and I'm trying to get through that. And one of the ways I'm getting through this, I have some of this support, some of these people that I've connected with for accountability in different areas of my life, who know my goals and who are holding my feet to the fire. And despite that, I'm having to constantly throughout the day stop myself, bring myself back to present, let go of the negative thoughts that I'm having, and push forward. I'm actually being pretty productive. I work 80, 90 hours a week, and then on top of that, I'm working on all these projects. And so making live streaming videos, showing up for these calls. I did not want to just and sleep the night away. But I'm not doing that because, what kind of accountability would that be? So anyway, I've rambled on enough, but I think it's really important that people understand that the reason that mastermind groups, accountability groups, support like this is so important is because when things are really tough, that's when you really need the people around you to keep you moving forward. And that's not about codependency. And I think maybe I'll do a video this week a little bit about codependency. I mean, it's okay to sometimes, when you're really struggling, to be a little bit, to need a little bit more, but at some point you got to put your feet down and move yourself forward. So anyway, that's kind of been my week, and I'm learning a lot about myself, and I know it's only going to get easier. And the good news is that when you take action, I know I'm finding, when you take action, it does make you feel better. You've got something that you can feel good about, despite the fact that there are other things going wrong in your life. Whereas if I just did what I want to do, which is sleep all day and, sit around in my own filth, then I would feel like crap tomorrow, and it would be that much harder tomorrow to move forward. So that a week.
Sounds like you've had quite a week.
It's been tough, but I know that the continue to do these calls and continue to work on my goals is going to make me feel better. But I definitely have been probably crying once a day and beating myself up throughout the day. And I'm really, I say beating myself up. I don't think anyone should beat themselves up. And I think I'm realizing now that sometimes you just can't help it. I mean, sometimes you have to hear those thoughts that are sort of habitual and go, oh, wait, I don't really feel that way. I'm not a loser. I don't hate myself or whatever it is. And take a deep breath and bring yourself back to present, and just, instead of fighting the thought, instead of arguing with the thought, instead of agreeing with the thought, you just kind of got to let it go, and then notice as it keeps coming up and let it go. And you actually were the one who talked to me a lot about that, and it's a practice. Try to remember that it's a practice, because the more you do it, the more you build the muscle, and eventually it gets easier. And the hard part for me is I just don't know when this is going to end. I keep, in 3 weeks, I'm going on vacation, so I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to just be in a different scenery, because part of the thing for me right now is the 10 months that I was dating her, I was here, and so everywhere I go, I had conversation. She was what got me through the tough time being here in the Bakken, and now I'm kind of having to deal with it alone, and everywhere I go, I see her. I gotta look in the mirror, she cut my hair, I look in the mirror, I see my haircut that she gave me. Everything reminds me of her right now, and that's really tough.
But despite being in a really low place this week, you've got some pretty significant stuff accomplished that you've been kind of had a block on for a long period of time. So, I think you kind of have to take a little bit of a vow.
Well, and I think that's the key thing with all this stuff, is that, like, the toughest stuff in your life, and this really is, I know it might seem stupid to some people, but, I'm 37 years old, and eventually I want to find somebody, I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to, and I really kind of thought this was maybe the one after being divorced for 6 years, and I screwed it up. And the thing is, when the toughest stuff in your life happens, it's the opportunity to grow, right? Because there are lessons here that I knew I needed to learn that I kept refusing to learn, and so I sort of backed into a corner now. So the choice is to either just, give up on life completely, turn to booze and coke and or whatever, right? Or put a bullet in your head, or whatever you want to do, or it's just, to stand up and go, okay, I want to change, I want to be different, I want to grow. And luckily, I have cultivated this kind of accountability in my life, and I have the support to do it. But that's the key thing. When bad things in your life happen, there's two choices: give up or double down and push harder. And so I'm doubling down.
Yeah, smart. And I can kind of identify with that. This week, I've been doing a lot of stuff in our business that's been neglected is the wrong word, but it just hasn't been getting the attention it deserves. And the only way to handle kind of all that stuff and at the same time move us forward so that we could be in a real strong place when it's time for me to go on vacation is to double down on my expectations for myself and really kind of engage a little bit extra. So yeah, I mean, there are certainly those periods of time when it's every day you drag yourself up by your bootstraps, and sometimes you don't make it day to day, you make it hour by hour. So yeah, so I certainly get that. So
we'll talk a little bit about kind of your week and your in reference to your original goal.
So my original goal is to replace myself, and I've got 3 more weeks to do it, and it's going pretty well. We actually have been making some forward progress. I kind of have a team together now. Before I had sort of a third of a team, a quarter of a team. A lot of people are getting. There's a lot of turnover, and that's really, really good because we're bringing on some people. Some of the people we're losing were sort of planned losses anyway. They were just people who were gonna move on, and this was sort of the time for it. So we've just been operating with less than a skeleton crew for an extended period of time. So now we're filling up those holes. We're taking care of anything that is overdue for attention, and also today and yesterday really made some strong strides towards getting some stuff done. So there's going to be, I feel like I could still accomplish my goal. There's certainly going to be some long days for the next 3 weeks, but it's pretty easy to work really hard when you know that in 3 weeks you're going to be working almost not at all. So that's pretty great. As far as what I was supposed to do specifically, I was supposed to take care of the frogs on my schedule, and actually I didn't get to any of that until this morning. So even though I planned on doing it that next day, I did not actually get to any of it until today, but I did get most of them addressed. I'm sure that a lot of them are going to come back, and I'm going to have to take another lap on them tomorrow. But they're all sort of, the items I didn't want to address have now been addressed, and so now they're all in process. So that's good. And in the meantime, we've made a lot of positive strides, particularly today and yesterday. Those were big days, and that should be the momentum going forward. So that's really good. I have 1 new frog for tomorrow, so that will be one actionable for tomorrow is to take care of my 1 big frog. In fact, I'll probably do it tonight after this call, just so that so I can't stop it from being addressed, right? Like I'll send off the email, which will cause all the questions, and then so I'll get the phone call tomorrow about it, as opposed to leaving it till tomorrow and then talking myself out of calling about it tomorrow. I'll send the email off tonight, so it's in process. And then after that,
can I stop you for 1
second?
second?
Yeah, go crazy.
So I just since I know some of the people who watch this call are new, and there's different people every week. I just want to bring up, we talked last week on the call about eating your frog, and there's a book called Eat Your Frog, and the whole concept of that is just, to do the hardest thing, the thing that you're dreading the most on your to-do list for the day, to do that first. The kind of the most important thing that you're dreading, to do that first, because if you do that, then it makes everything else in the day that much easier, and it's that much easier to focus rather than sort of avoiding everything because you've got this one really tough thing you don't want to do. So when he's referencing eating his frog, that's what he's talking about. So anyway, go ahead, Max.
And to add on to that, the war of art sort of thing is that he doesn't call them frogs. He calls it resistance, the things you don't want to do. And those things he suggests are probably the most important things, that those are the things that probably point the way towards the things that are the most important to your calling or goals or what have you. So I mean, it's all kind of the same thing, and those are all very important things, and are kind of in some way, when it comes to our clients, that they certainly want someone who can handle all the easy stuff, but you kind of don't get points for the easy stuff. You only really get points for the hard stuff. And so And so handling the hard stuff was a thing that needed to get done, and it got addressed. So that's good stuff. So yeah, I got a frog for tomorrow, which I will force myself to deal with tomorrow by basically bringing it to attention tonight, to other people's attention tonight, so that there's just no stopping it. And then, and I know I'm being super elusive, but there's a lot of privacy stuff and a lot of people's personal information and all that stuff. So I'm sorry for being so vague, but basically there's, unfun stuff to talk about that has to be talked about. And then there's a really big kind of workload. I'm trying to train up some staff to handle that. But really the next 3 weeks, a lot of what I need to do is get things systematized and codified in a way that when I'm gone, I'm not really needed. People need to kind of have reference material and have training so that they can handle the things that I'm handling when I'm gone, as if I was there doing it myself. And I've got 3 weeks to do it, and it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to codify, and it's a lot of stuff to train. And on top of it, right, like I've got all the kind of daily stuff that I have yet to turn over. So it's going to be, a pretty big load. But one of the nice things about a hard deadline is that it's motivating. So yeah, effectively, I have to train 4 people to do the stuff that I was doing and the stuff that somebody else was doing, and the stuff that a third person was doing, and also give them enough backup information that if they have questions, they at least have a resource that they can go to if for some reason they can't get a hold of me, which I'm going to be in and out of contact while on vacation, so that'll be a thing.
Okay. And both of us should talk about what. So that's a lot of stuff to cover, and I don't know how to best hold you accountable to that stuff. And I think that's one of the key things with these groups is to make sure that there's some ways to kind of some checks and balances.
Yeah,
I didn't really.
Yeah, what's the deliverable there?
Things I'm going to do next week at all, so I need to do that in a minute. But what's the deliverable? Yeah.
I mean, certainly I know that when it comes to and one of the things I can talk about, because it's pretty basic, is like I've been running not the management department. I've been running the maintenance department, and I'm bringing up a guy to run that department. So I'm kind of the stopgap. So I mean, one of the things that needs to be true when I leave is that I can't be involved in any of the day-to-day maintenance stuff. The actionable item for tomorrow on that is to turn over the maintenance email so that he is also now processing the maintenance email. Another actionable is to set up his work order list in such a way that it's easy for him to sort the list and see what it is he did know about before and what he hasn't even looked at because somebody else generated a work order for him, that kind of thing. So that he can do the scheduling. Like I've already set him up so that he can schedule. He knows how to schedule. Now he needs to handle what happens when all the work orders come from somebody that's not me. So, what happens when he gets email about it, what happens when other staff generate work orders for him, that sort of thing. So those are actual actionables for tomorrow. Overall, I just need to not be involved in it whatsoever. And that's a pretty big deal because just about everything else is pretty small in terms of time commitment. So that's actually the biggest piece of the pie.
Okay. So what should I look for from you this week in our because one of the things we fell down on, both of us this week, was posting on a daily basis, and that's one of the ways I know we've gotten off track in the past. So,
Yeah.
What should I be looking for in the group from you on a daily basis?
I'm not sure if there's anything smarter than posting. I know that for a time we were experimenting with like little YouTube videos, and I found those fairly easy to do because it's just faster to record a 3-minute video than to take 12 minutes or 15 minutes out of the day to post a coherent post. But I really just need to do it before I get going in the morning. So really, it's that same 6:30 thing. The only reason why I'm hesitating to say that that's the way to go is that was the plan for this week and it didn't happen. I don't know. Do you have any smarter ideas? I don't know what the...
I mean, I think that the big thing we should just focus on for this week maybe is just to keep that commitment to post every day, even if it's just, hey, I'm on target.
Everything's fine here. Thumbs up.
Okay, so so I got that, but one of the things I'm thinking too, so I'm reading this book by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan called The One Thing, and it talks about, have you read that?
Nope. No.
Okay. So the idea behind it is it's kind of about having a shorter to-do list, and and you do this with me a lot. You'll ask me, so what's next? What's the next thing?
Yeah, I don't want the plan. I want what's next.
Yeah, just tell me what's next. So, and that's kind of their point, is that it's several things. I mean, brands that focus on one product. He talks about doing the one thing that's important. Keeping a shorter to-do list rather than longer to-do lists are to-do lists. They want you to have a success list. Here's the 3 things. With the next thing is the number one thing. So, I think the best thing might be to what's the number one thing you've got to accomplish tomorrow, and then or in the morning you could post for today. The number one thing I need to accomplish is, and then each morning you could just say, yes, I accomplished my one thing, and here's my one thing for the next day.
And that's actually something I stumbled into a little bit this week, is that one of the things we've got going on is there's a staffer who is really great. She is just fantastic, but she spreads her light in every direction all at once, and really what we need is for her to focus like a laser on one thing and knock that one thing out and then move on to the next thing. And so for her, and I've done a version of it for myself that works with my longer list of things to do, is that all the top stuff is ranked in order, and there's like 10 things, and beyond that everything else is just in the wind. But those top 10 things are ranked in order, and you start with number 1, and until you hit a block you don't move on to number 2. Right? Now number 1 might be make a phone call. You make the phone call, you get a voicemail, you leave your voicemail. There's nothing more to do until you wait some period of time. You can now move on to number 2. But because they're all ranked, and it's been working really good for her, she's like knocking stuff out, and she blows past stuff, pays a little bit of attention to it, but then she circles back and hits it again when a little bit of period of time goes, and it's really good to kind of remove all that decision of, oh, what should I work on next? Oh, well, this thing would be easy. I can enjoy doing this for the... I can waste some time doing that, and then I'll feel like I'm productive, and like not having that choice. Okay, the top thing is the next thing, and that's it. Whether I want to do it or whether it's convenient or whatever. So yeah, that's been kind of a thing that I've done for myself and for her, and it's been really successful this week.
Okay, so yeah, even if you could just kind of post that in the group every day, and I think the number one commitment we should both make this week is to post every day with how our progress is going on, our one thing. And it might be, in my case, there's like 3 things I'm working on. There's probably one thing in each of those for the day that I need to focus on. The 2 for me every day. I need to make my lunch for work. I need to go to the gym. Like, that's my one thing for my health and fitness goal, right? For my IRS stuff, getting all that stuff, it's like in fact, that's something I need to talk out probably before we're done. What is the next one thing I need to do, in that area? And then also for this, getting these live accountability calls, the whole goal with these live accountability calls is to teach people how to hold their own accountability groups and eventually, get to a point where we can, either set these up for other people. I would like to create online small groups where we can help other people do exactly what we're doing. So that's kind of the goal for me, but there's steps before that. So anyway, so just what that one thing is in each of those areas that we're working on. Can you commit to making a post every day?
Yeah. No, I can do that. I just got to do it before I get out of bed.
Okay. So you do that before you get out of bed. I will probably do mine just before I go to bed, just because that's when I kind of know what I've accomplished today and it's kind of a time for me to think about what I need to do tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay. So then, real quick, my IRS stuff. Whew. I need to find all the statements for one of the companies, bank statements.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the receipts and expenses, but I don't have all the bank statements. So I need all the bank statements for one of the companies. Well, two of the companies. I ordered a bunch of bank statements that I was definitely missing. I need to know if those other ones are there or not, because if they're not, then I need to order them. And they are there in Montana, and you were going to look for me. Have you had a chance to look?
No.
Okay, and I know you got tons on your plate, so I feel even bugging you about it.
Keep bugging me. Be vicious about it. That's fine. Because I kind of get in the zone with my stuff during the day. So keep bugging me. I'm half tempted to just pay somebody to go through it. So
you're what?
I may end up paying someone to go through it.
Okay, well, you can build me.
Yeah. So
just if you end up doing
it's actually not a ton of stuff. I thought it was going to be more, and it isn't actually as much as I thought. So
okay.
And one of the boxes actually had. In fact, after this, I will actually look at one of the boxes that has the name of the company on it.
Okay.
I just don't know if it's right years.
2008, which I need 2009 on. That's why I think that is so organized, is because that was the last year that I actually did that stuff properly.
Right. Got it.
So, yeah. So all right. So that's a thing. Because if not, I need to order bank statements, and the sooner I do that, it's going to take a few weeks. So the sooner I do that, the better. And I'm sure it's going to cost me some money. So.
Right. Okay.
And then so that's thing. Bug Max about finding out the answer to that. I need to contact the bank and start working on some of the others. So I'll post in the group specifics on that, because I got to think about it a little. Make my lunch, go to the gym, and then I need to get my ad up on Facebook to start promoting that more people can check this out, and so hopefully see what they think, and maybe we can get some feedback and continue to make these calls better.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, well, so
I think we got it.
My number one commitment and your number one commitment, let's post in the group every day. I think that's good, and I think we're on track. Anything else? Oh, so I guess the last thing I'm going to say, Max mentioned The War of Art, which is a book by Stephen Pressfield. Great book. We'll put it in the call notes below this video on YouTube, so you can look that up if you want. And then Eat the Frog. I don't know if we posted that last week, but we'll put that book so people can find it. And then The One Thing by Gary Keller is the one I'm reading right now, which is interesting. Actually, it's an okay book, but I like the concept of one thing, but I kind of got halfway through it and was like, this is good, but it's kind of boring me. So I'm now reading Super Better by Jay McGonigal, and that's a pretty awesome book so far. So,
sweet.
Anyway, that's what we got. Anything else you want to share this week, Max?
I think that's it.
All right, man. We'll post in the group and have a good week.
Okay. Yeah. Well, talk to you next week or sooner.
All right. Talk to you next week. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.